Okay, we're here. We're here for our third mini. Yes.
Third
Third
mini
mini.
trip, triple mini, mini, mini.
Yes. And our topic for today is balance. So I'm curious, so we can go back and forth. What made you choose balance as our topic today?
It's a good question, Amani. I was getting my hair done yesterday. I don't know if you can see my hair's cut. I got my hair's cut. I got my hair's
Mhm.
cut,
Looking
colored, all the
fly,
things.
looking fly. Yes, yes.
And my hairdresser, my hair colorist, she's a small business owner. We were talking about the mini. And I said, "What are your challenges as a small business owner?" I'm just curious because we're looking for a topic for a mini. And she just had a baby about 7 months ago, and
Mhm.
she said, "My issue is balance." And I said, "What do you mean by balance?" Because we interviewed, Phyllis Strutter Williams, who wrote the book Balance is Bullshit,
Mm.
on our podca on our, weekly show, and
Yeah.
I just thought that was very ironic because balance has been on our mind, right? So, she said she's having trouble with balance, balancing being a mom and a professional, balancing being an entrepreneur, balancing being a wife, balancing growing her business versus being in her business versus charging for higher prices, all the stuff with balance. And I thought, well, you know what? We're entrepreneurs too. And a lot of people that listen are entrepreneurs. So let's just dig in. Let's dig into balance. It's like a
Mhm.
never ending thing that we're always thinking about. So I don't know.
Very
What do you
cool.
think? I think it's a pretty good topic.
I think it's a good topic. Balance can be considered BS, but I think you have to have some sort of balance, whether it's watching your favorite shows, on certain days of the week, or binging a show, reading a book, exercising, going for walks. We call them after dinner walks, not digestion walks.
Digestion walks. I still call them that, much to my husband's chagrin. I still call
I
them
am on
digestion walks.
team scooter on this one. Uh, and I would say even traveling, going on vacation, for example. My best example of balance last year was when I went on the solo riding retreat to Minnesota. That was
Mhm.
amazing, transformative. So I'm a fan. I think you have to figure out how to work it in, even if it's going for a drive, around the neighborhood, up and down the
Mm.
coast. That's balance.
So let me ask you the question, Amani, though. Do you look at balance? Because I think there's a couple ways to look at balance, right? There's balance, and there's my Cleveland accent coming out. I can see your face. There's the balance, the balance in life, right? What your
Mhm.
personal life, like your balance between family, friends, love, that piece, right? And then there's a balance in your business. So let's just take your personal life for a second. Do you have a formula for balance? Do you have rituals for balance? Like, how do you balance out your personal life? What do you do?
So yes, I try to stick to, a formula. Someone in my past said I was being more of a robot, but I think it's discipline. So I'm going to disagree there.
Mhm.
you know and I think like 3 or 4 days a week for balance, I'll ride on the Peloton. That's good for like physical and kind of just getting out. I try to do my best to journal as much as possible, though I'm kind of delinquent with that, more than 1 day a week.
Mhm.
I think playing soccer like 1 day a week, doing that is a form of balance. Watching TV shows and things just to kind of mind candy, I think that's balance. And then
Yeah.
reading, and I think maybe even like I'm really focused on trying to work on my sleep and sleeping better. And I think that builds into balance too. That's my opinion. What about you?
I agree. I think I know we could talk about work balance in a second, but I think personal balance is really important. For me, I have all sorts of rituals, and if somebody were to call me a robot, I would celebrate that because I love robot.
Yes,
I
yes.
do the robot like no man that I get to. I love the robot. In fact, we have a beautiful piece of art in our house that was commissioned for us for our wedding 10 years ago now by a local artist. And it's a robot boy and a robot girl. And she did it for us. So
I
that's
like
a
it.
compliment. Being called a robot's a compliment to me. So
Thank you.
I think you should take that and own that.
Hmm.
Um, and I think for me, balance is a lot like discipline. I try and balance out what I read. So in the morning or really before dark, I'm all about consuming self help, consuming business, consuming market trends, reading reports on how to make things better, nonfiction autobiographies. And then
Hmm.
reading after dark, I'm all about fiction or just mindless stuff. So whether that is a funny book or a silly magazine or I just started watching LA Law. which
Oh,
I
Happy to
didn't watch
Friends.
the first time, or I don't think I was allowed to watch it in the 80s.
Yeah.
But so like that's so mindless. I can just fall asleep to that. So I think the balance in how you manage your personal life is really important. And I try and do mindless things in the evening because I'm scrambled eggs anyways and stuff to keep me productive in the morning. That's
What
how I do my personal stuff.
I like it. What's the saying you have? No business books after dark. What's your phrase you use?
Oh, no business books after dark, and we're not allowed to talk about finances after 9 p.m. in our house.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
You know how hard that is for a financial strategist like my husband. It's very difficult because to him,
Yes.
there's no harm in that. So that's a domestic negotiation we've had to work
Okay.
through. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if we segue to being balanced in the business,
Yes.
one of the things like, so I'm really, really focused on, and I have a feeling Manny's going to help me a lot with this, on making sure I consistently have time for business development, like emailing and calling people. That's a big focus this year.
Yeah.
What are some ways to stay balanced in your business so you're not always working in your business, if I said that correctly?
No, you are. In fact, this is a practice that I live by. And then whenever I'm coaching people one on one, as much as people want to talk about sales, we always normally start with this on accident because the barrier for entrepreneurs to grow their business and to grow their sales is how they're managing their business. So I always think it's really important to look at your business in three ways, right? So, way number one is how are you in the business? That's all operational stuff, right? That is payroll and invoices and emails and proposals and that piece. And then how are you out of the business? And out of the business is just the looking at the business from the 30,000-foot view, the strategy, efficiency, and then how are you growing the business? And growing the business is obviously sales. If you are spending your whole week being in the business, you're off balance. If you're spending your whole week being out of the business, you're off balance. If you're spending your whole week growing the business, you're being off balance. So I think it's really important at the beginning of your week, Sunday night, take a look at your calendar and then micro it down day to day. And am I doing enough in, out, grow every day? In, out, grow, in, out, grow. And there are going to be some days where all you do is grow, and there's some days where all you do is in, all you do is out. But as long as you look at that full week and there's a balance of in, out, grow, then
Mhm.
you're okay. And that's really how I run my businesses too, and it's worked for me. I've had other people tell me that they spend a whole month just growing and business developing, and then they spend a whole month like right before taxes doing the operational stuff. I can't function that way. But
Right.
everybody's got their own thing that works for them. I just challenge you to really look at the in out grow of it.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Um, are there any areas like this year that you want to be better at in terms of balancing out your business? Like I said, for me, it's more business development. Need to do that. Of course, in a new
Mhm.
city, would you consider like I'm going to a good amount of like networking events and things like that? That's kind of considered business development. So that would be on
Yeah.
that area too. What are you looking to kind of work on this year?
Last year was all about efficiency. So last year was all about out of the business, and this year's going to be continue to be scaling efficiency and strategy. I don't know about you, but my default like love behavior is being in the business. I love operations. I think you know that. I love a list. I like tackling things. I like assigning things. I like deploying. So I don't have a problem with that. In fact, that's like my dopamine. That's like give me
Mhm,
more. So
mhm.
I have to and growing the business. I do that all the time, and I love selling. So my Achilles heel is the strategy part. Even though I'm really good at it, I don't do it as much as I should or I want to. And last year I had a lot of success with being efficient in the
Right.
business. So this year, I just want to take that efficiency and that strategy to the next level. And then really how that looks, that picture of that is just scaling things more, being a little more automated, a little more effective.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's balance.
What about balance? So I have just another segue onto balance. What about balance with the people that you surround yourself with? How do
Hmm.
you manage that? Or have you thought about that before?
Hmm. So when I hear you ask that question, I what comes to my mind is making sure that I'm surrounding myself with people that will be supportive and will not be toxic and will just be pleasant to be around and not disturb my peace. I don't want people to
Mm.
disturb my peace, and if they're disturbing my peace, they gotta go. So I think if you're not disturbing my peace and you're helping to challenge me and really help me stretch my mind, or we can just relax and talk about things with no inhibitions, then I'll let you be in my circle. But I think anything else, people that maybe distract me or kind of toxic, they gotta go. I'd rather sit here and talk to my dog or no one than to be distracted or be brought down by someone else's energy. How about you?
Ooh, I'm really happy that you recognize that. So many people don't recognize that in themselves or they don't set those boundaries. So I think that's a balances boundaries kind of thing, right? That's my pickup from that, from you saying
Yeah.
that.
And it can even be family members too. I might have a certain family member. I have to limit how much I talk to them because they just stress me out, disturb my peace, and be a little negative. So, I got to balance that out. That's been a work in progress, but I think I'm at a good place right now.
Oh, that's good, Amani. I'm happy to hear that. Look at you go. We're all
I'm
grown up.
trying here.
We're
I'm
all grown
trying
up
over here.
now.
Yes, yes. What about for you? Do you have a different perspective? What's your perspective?
I'm always trying to surround myself. In fact, I have this up here. Surround yourself with people who want to move their lives forward in a joyful and productive way.
I have that up there too. You sent that to me in the
Oh,
mail over
aw.
a year ago. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Oh, twinsies. We've got twinsies monikers. So that's just a life goal of mine. And I think I do a pretty good job of that. But there are some times where I try and maintain balance of there are just sometimes I want to be around like my rowdy ruckus raising friends that make me super happy. There's
Mhm.
sometimes where I want to be around my really chill friends. There's sometimes where I just want to be with my husband. There's sometimes where and it just depends on what's going on in my life. So I think I have a balance of high achievers, people that have known me for a long time, people that I don't have to say a word to. Like we can just walk in silence or be in
Mhm.
silence. Those are very
Mhm.
cherished friends. It's of only a couple people.
That's rare.
But I think I try to maintain a balance of this different inventory of people in my life that I hope I give as much to them as they give to me, but I don't have to be around all of them all the time. I like to sort of pick and choose when to be around them based on what feels good to me or maybe what feels good to them. I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea or like Aaron King says, shot of whiskey. I'm not everybody's. So, and I know they're probably not all of mine all the time too. So I hope people, pull me in and out whenever it works best for them too. But I do believe there's a balance to your how you hang and how you spend your time with people that you love.
Amen. If you're
Yeah.
listening or watching along, let us know in the comments or the chat or send us a message. What do you do
Yeah.
to, manage your balance, maybe improve, get better? And also, how do you handle balancing people in your life too, which was a great question by Mandy. But that takes us to the end of our mini here. We'll be back next week with another one. And we will see you all very soon.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.